everybody, and welcome to the Chat Trap with me, Pavleen Gujral. My today's guest is architect Prasanna Parvatikar, the director at Cubism Architects and Interiors, based in a small, humble town of Tirupur, the knitwear capital of the country. It's a firm that he started along with his wife Rupashri Parvatikar way back in the 2000s. But there's more to his story than that, being established in a completely unknown city. Let's find out. Hello, Mr. Prasanna. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm great. Pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you.
So let's start off by saying that is it Prasanna or is it Prasanna? Because I thought Prasanna means happiness, right?
See, basically, I born in Karnataka and but brought up in Maharashtra. My name is Prasanna, but eventually, what happened? I moved to Tamil Nadu, and I think there it's changed to Prasanna.
Okay.
So people started calling me Prasanna from that point of time.
It's like how Govinda Huja became Govinda,
Govinda.
Eventually. So you became Prasanna from Prasanna.
Prasanna, yes.
Okay. So you live in a small humble town of Tirupur. How did you land up there, sir?
So quite interesting. Like when I completed my architecture in Kolhapur, and there were like we all friends. Like we were thinking where to go. Few wanted to go to Delhi. Few of us they wanted to start their career in Mumbai. Then I thought of going to Nasik in Maharashtra, and I went there. I was there for 2 years, and eventually again there was a kind of opportunity for me to go to Tirupur and complete one work, and which I completed, and I was supposed to come back. Then I realized, no, this is my place where I can start my own career, and there I have decided to stay back in Tirupur. It happened in 2001, and from there I started my career in Tirupur.
Okay, how lovely. So you have your firm, Cubism Architects and Interiors, along with your wife, Rupashri.
Yes.
How is it working with your spouse and running a firm with her? I see that smile on your face.
See, being in industrial town, very less of social things were happening in those days, and I doesn't wanted to have any kind of housewife where she'll be at home always. So it was decided by me, and I was like my parents, they wanted to have a kind of housewife, but I said no, I want an architect wife, and this is how we started searching, and I posted my profile on bharatmatrimonial.com.
Oh, really? So all kudos goes to Bharat Matrimony.
Pardon?
All the credit goes to Bharat Matrimony for getting you together.
Getting together, and then I saw Rupa. I called her Rupa on that website, and then I approached her, and it's quite interesting. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And she's having two brothers. Both were green card holders in America, and both were staying there. And then I sent mail saying that I'm an architect and I just want to marry your sister, and there was no reply. Then I just left it as it is.
Right.
And then suddenly one day, one of my aunt in Bangalore, she met Rupa's aunt in somewhere in temple.
Oh gosh.
And they exchanged photographs and horoscope.
Small world.
And that landed in my home, and I just saw that photograph and I said, this is what I
Meant
need.
to be. This is meant to be.
And I said, on photographs I said, it's okay, I am okay with the girl and Rupa. And then my parents wanted to have meet and all those things happened, and on first meet I said, not asking any questions, I said okay for her. So this is how I met her first and started.
You were meant to be, both of you together. That one way or the other you came together.
I'll tell you, I saw only one girl, and that was Rupa.
Oh, how sweet is that? And then you started this firm together, both of you.
Then I started my career in 2001. I got married in 2004, and in 2004 we started Cubism Architects and Interiors. So it started in 2004.
And how is it working with your spouse day in, day out?
It's a good thing. She's a housewife. She does all housework at a time. Then she come to the office and she handles my all office accounts and administration part. And I'm more into designing and marketing. So it's a great help from her. Like we discuss things together at office and home. So she understands what are the problems we are running through, or what are the things happening in the office and all. I think architect should have architect wife.
Yeah, you think so? Okay. So an architect should have an architect wife. So if one of your children becomes an architect, so you would want them to be married to an architect as well?
I can't compel to them.
You
But
can't.
I wish.
So you have two beautiful children.
Yeah, I have one son and one daughter. And son, he's studying in ninth standard, and daughter, she's studying in third standard.
So either of them has ever told you that they want to become an architect?
See, a couple of months back, I got a surprise. My son suddenly started taking interest in architecture. He's realizing what I'm doing, and he come to know like few of our projects keep on coming in magazines and some
Right.
of the print media. It's happening. So he started taking interest in architecture, and he talks about famous architects like Norman Foster and all those things, Frank O'Gehry, FLW and all. So it's quite interesting, and I'm happy that he started taking interest in architecture.
Okay.
But I can't say anything about my daughter because she's too small right
It's
now.
small right now. Would you like it if one of them decides
Certainly, I like it. Yes.
to take the legacy forward?
Yes, that is important.
So, like you said, that you started in 2004, and the industry has changed tremendously since 2004.
Yes.
So, what are the changes that you've observed
From my start of career,
from the beginning of your career to now?
To now.
How has the industry changed for the good, for the worst?
it's really good. Industry has, like, for us, we have seen many phases in our career, and I could say that the people or the clients, they have different type of views on their projects now, which was not there initially when we started our project. Like, they were basic knowledge and they just want to build their homes, they just want to build their schools and all. But now, yeah, they're bit upgraded version kind of thing, and I'm happy that like they know what they want to do, and we know what we want to do. So it's just like, for us it's happening. It's really a good growth in industry last 20 years.
So, you are a very active sports enthusiast, we have heard. You're an active badminton player and an active cricket enthusiast.
Yes.
How do you get the time for all of this? And I've been told that you do this every day.
Yeah, it's been last 5 years. I play everyday badminton, close to 1.5 hours, and that is the only time somehow I manage it, taking from my schedule. And every Sunday I play cricket, and I feel that apart from work, apart from any other professional life, you should have kind of hobby.
Of course.
Way of sports, of maybe music, maybe book reading or something like that. And for me, it's sports. So this is how I work. Like this is how I spend my time every morning.
Okay. So let's do a little work talk now. What are the trends that are prevalent in the industry around? Do you follow trends? And if do you, what are the trends that you're following right now? And what about 5 years hence? Where do you see the industry going in 5 years?
The trends right now is all like, when I started my career, there was not a word called trend in India. But last 10 years, yes, people want some kind of like client, they want some kind of product in front of them, like that is called maybe a kind of fusion architecture, or maybe rustic architecture, or maybe rustic interior and all those things. So trends have been changing. If you ask me, mostly in interiors, every 2 years trends are changing, and they have different styles, and they have different kind of designing methods. So next 5 years, this will be happening very fast. And as I told you earlier, people or client, they're much exposed to the outer world, or maybe social media and all, and they know what type of thing they need in front of them. So trends will be keep on changing for the next 5 years, like very fast, and it is going to be very challenging for us.
So like you mentioned, social media. Is your firm, or are you on social media, and do you believe in digital marketing?
I do believe I should I want to specify here that I think we should have kind of digital platform where we can, because most of client, they doesn't know what we do, what type of work we are doing. And I think recently, last couple of years, we started posting our project images and these things on Instagram, on Facebook, and we're getting very good response for that. I don't want to say it as a marketing, but I just want to tell them that this is what we are doing, and if it fits in your requirement, I think you can approach us or something like that.
Okay. And where do you see your firm going in the next 5 years? What have you predicted for it, and what is your aim?
I can't predict, but I think I always plan like how I can take it my firm maybe next year or next to next year. So 5 years is
Too long.
too long to plan in architecture. But certainly next couple of years we have very good inquiries post COVID and very good interesting projects we will be doing. So I think next maybe 2 years our firm will be doing really in a different way. But I don't want to specify that particularly we'll be doing number of projects so much and all. But I think we have good inquiries for next couple of years.
Like you mentioned, post-COVID, do you think the sensibilities of the clients have changed post-COVID?
Very much. And they are now there were phases like 2001 to 2010, then 2010 to 2019, 20. Fine. But to 2020, they are very much sure what they want to do. And it's good for architect. We are getting very good inquiries post COVID where they just want to say, Prasanna, देखो मेरे को अच्छा कुछ बनाना है लाइफ में एक बार बनाना है and all. So that type of things are happening and it's very good response from the clients after post COVID.
That's good. I hope it stays that way.
Stays that
So Prasanna, what is your personal passion project been like? Like suppose your first project. What was that like and how much did you get paid for it? That is what we want to know.
Pay.
It's a tricky one.
See, tricky one. I'd like to mention actually the first project I did one small toilet for one of my client.
Really?
I never received any payment for that.
Okay. It was more like an investment
towards my building
yes.
kind
Career.
of huge career, yeah. And that toilet, it took us around 1 month to do that, and we had a lot of experience. Not we, I had a lot of experience doing that toilet. After completion of toilet, like these are things, no initial stages. Like after completion toilet, he was supposed to occupy that particular room, and suddenly started leaking at 1:30 night.
Oh,
the
no.
toilet started leaking from somewhere, water started gushing out, and then he called me, and then I rushed. So all those days, like
You rushed at 1:30 at
1:30
night?
called me
Oh gosh.
and rushed there, and I called plumber and all these things like
Oh
to build a
God.
career. Like it was
Right,
a passion
right,
for
right.
work, and so his pain is our pain or something like that.
Of course.
So it was not kind of professional approach those days that no, so it's night time, I won't come and all. So we went there, we found out the problem. The next day morning we sent the people and we corrected it. So this is how the experience, no, like building.
That's how you learn, I
Learn,
think,
correct.
with each project.
Correct.
Any recent project of yours that you felt very passionate about?
Recently we have completed one project in Kunur, Uti. So that is a kind of weekend home for one of my clients. It's my favorite client, and we have received a triple ID award for that. That project was quite touching to my heart always.
You live in an industrial town, but I feel like I wanted to ask you, does sustainability play an important role in your design and architecture practice?
Sustainability is very important factor of any design. And industrial town, we consider lot of factors while designing project. So yeah, sustainability is very important while designing the project.
So, Prasanna, any advice that you would like to give to all the architecture students out there who are starting their firm, or maybe they're just starting to study architecture? One thing that they should do and one thing that they should not do in order to have a successful career.
There are many advices from my side. I started being a normal student in architecture college. I started my career somewhere in Tamil Nadu. I was from Maharashtra, and then I went to Tamil Nadu, and I started from that phase. I have learnt everything not through books, through experiences. And what I want to tell all architecture students, that have a passion for your profession. Patience is very important. Okay, professional approach is always there, but still you cross that line and try to do some different things. I was telling you about the
Yes.
toilet project.
Of course.
There was a professional things, but still I said no, I should go there and correct it or something like that. So that approach is very important nowadays. So which gives confidence to the client that no, this guy can do, or he can deliver something to me. So that relationship building is very important. The other one is honesty in your design. There are a lot of platform available. lot of social media available. Try to create your own something which is unique or something like that. It's not that you have a lot of exposure, but you are taking something from other thing and putting it here. So don't do that, and try to create your own designs or own detailings to the client.
Be an individualist, have an individualistic idea.
Realistic.
Prasanna, you work on projects across Tamil Nadu and of course in Tirupur where the firm is based. Are the sensibilities different in each town?
Yeah, very great extent, and I always believe not only Tamil Nadu, in India, every 50 kilometers you have different language, different accent, different food,
True.
different culture, different dress sense. That thing I can very well, I have observed in Tamil Nadu, like every 50 to 80 kilometers, they have some set type of thinkings. Like if I'm in Tirupur, they have set thinking where they say that no, this is what we need. And then when I go to Coimbatore, since we have office in Coimbatore, so we have Coimbatore people, and you know Coimbatore is it's a big city.
It's a big city.
So there again we have different requirement, or maybe the thought process of the people over there. So then the down south again, if you go, you have Erode one place, then you have Salem. So every place I could make out, even the way they speak, I could make out that they are from the Tirupur, they are from Coimbatore, they are from Salem. That variation, I think it's really, I could really observe, and then we start designing, doing that. But Tamil Nadu is very distinct. We can easily make out that people are different from place to place.
So how is Tirupur's way of thinking different from Coimbatore?
See, Tirupur, I will tell you a small thing about Tirupur. Like Tirupur people, they doesn't want to get their daughter or son married to the other town.
Oh really? Not even the other town?
Recently, I have one client, like I can say that I'm kind of a matchmaker also.
Oh really?
I've arranged
That's your side business?
It's not a business. It's just a contact.
Side profile.
So what happens, like people call me, Prasanna, you have done their house, and I think I want to give my daughter to
Right.
them. So how's the family and all. So I think I should thank God that He has given that opportunity to me, and we have done almost 15 to 18 marriages, kind of matchmaker.
Oh, that's amazing. You have a lot of blessings from a lot of families.
So this thing happening, so this is how, like he called me last time and he wanted to have he said that person, any bridegroom you have, just let us know and all the thing. But I said, which part of Tirupur you need? Like he doesn't want to give to out of Tirupur. Then he said, no, I want within the street if you have anyone.
Wow.
So he doesn't want to send his daughter to the next street also.
That's too specific. And were you able to find somebody?
No, it's not that. That was a discussion. So this is a kind of peculiar character of Tirupur. Coimbatore is not like that. Coimbatore is a bit open, and they're broad. I can't say that they're broad-minded, but they have different type of thinking.
I also wanted to ask you about the challenges that you faced while establishing your design firm, especially when you started with your wife. So you faced challenges as a family. So how did that work out?
I started my practice I started in 2001, and I got married in 2004. So I would like to explain the 2001 phase of my life. And when I went to Tirupur, I went with only 3,000 rupees, and you know that in Tamil Nadu, except Tamil, you can't speak anything.
Oh yes.
So I was there for almost 40-45 days without talking to anyone.
My God.
Staying in a small hotel room, and then suddenly one day I started walking on street, and I could see that there are a group of people speaking in Hindi, and that was like, for me, like I have achieved something, like, oh, I should go there.
Found a golden golden chest.
So
treasure.
I just went there, and I was standing in front of them, and I don't know what, I was just thinking, what should I talk to them and all those things. Then they just called us, like, what do you want? Then I said, I have heard Hindi almost after a couple of months, so I just wanted to hear, like I want to stand here. So this is how they become a friend, and they called us, they all were bachelors, and they invited me to stay with them, and this is how the journey started. So that was one secured part of my life where I was able to like I had a home that time. Like I was staying in hotel, just not a hotel, it's a small kind of lodge. From there, then I started roaming around. Because I had no work for first 6 7 months, and the friends who were there, they started supporting me. Then after 4 5 months, I realized that it's too much and I can't do anything here. I should quit Tirupur and I should go back to Kolhapur. Then I called my mother and I said, no, I'm coming back and it's not going well the way I wanted. Then she said, anyway, you have stayed there for first 5 months alone, and then I realized that no, I should not stay in Tirupur. I should go back and start again my career in Kolhapur. Then I called my mother that time and I just said, no, I'm just coming back from Tirupur. And then she said, no, why can't you venture out again and try to find out what is there. You are being in an industrial town. There are people who must be building houses. There are people who are building factories, who must be building factories. So why don't you study that town, and then you decide about your thing coming back, or you can stay. So then I realized that. Then I stayed back, and then again interesting part was like I was not having any vehicle those days, and all these two friends, they gave me one TVS moped.
Oh, really? How sweet.
So that was a not free thing. I said that I'll pay you back after some time, and from that TVS moped I started more roaming all over Tirupur, and I started studying that place. And then somehow I told you about the toilet project,
Right.
and then from there I started. So I just wanted to mention one more part. My father is civil engineer, and he takes care of my all structural designing of my
Oh, how
projects.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
So three of us we have built
this
cubism.
firm.
Yeah, this film
Oh, that's so amazing. So your father also contributes
contributes
to
a
the
lot.
firm.
Yes.
So it's a family-run business.
And yeah, family run business, and it was my father's wish that he wanted me to be an architect.
Oh, okay.
So
So
then
your parents have been very instrumental to
yes,
your
yes,
career
yes,
path.
career part. So then things started like that, and then the first couple of years I was communicating everything through English to my client, and they were trying to speak in Tamil. So it was kind of interesting stuff, like because Tamil is very
Tamil is the main language there.
Yeah, altogether it's a different language.
Right.
Though I speak Kannada at home and I speak Marathi, I speak Gujarati and all that, but Tamil was a bit difficult those days. And it took me almost 3 to 4 years to learn Tamil.
Oh, really? Okay.
And now I'm very
Of
fluent
course.
in that.
So the initial challenge was also a language barrier.
Language barrier was the biggest thing, and what I used to do, I used to listen all these radio FM radios, like just switch on those
Tamil
things,
channels.
Tamil channel, and start learning those things. Unless and until I think you can't do anything in Tamil Nadu unless until you don't know Tamil.
the language.
So the language. So that was a bit tough part on me. Then the second part was understanding their culture, understanding their needs, being on a different place. So it took me quite a while. Like people now, if they look at me, they feel that I'm part of
One of
them.
them.
One of them. It was not
Like
the
that.
condition in those days. So I think somehow I was able to overcome of that. Those were the difficulties in those times.
So your challenges are so different from the regular challenges.
Regular
Language was the
challenges.
biggest challenge. And just to fit in, I think.
The first thing was the challenge was food.
Food. Okay.
The second thing was the language. Then third thing was the getting projects.
Right.
And fourth thing was like doing good projects. And the fifth one was like getting more projects through
Getting
that.
more projects. Project after project after project. Make a chain. Okay, interesting.
I would like to mention to young architects that stick to the ground always. Don't be. You have to be always on ground. You have to be honest to your profession and all. So that's the very basic things we require. I think all architects.
And I think no matter where you are,
where you are.
it doesn't really matter. It's how you've started a practice in a town that you knew nothing about.
Correct.
And so I think it really doesn't matter where you are as long as you're passionate about your work.
Yes.
Lovely, very nice. Thank you so much, Prasanna. That was such a lovely interview. Thank you for being such a humble person and such interesting conversation.
Thank you, and I would like to thank Floyd for inviting me second time, and I'm really happy for that. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. But we are not going to let you leave that easily because we have a final parting round with you.
Okay.
So we have a very interesting rapid fire round.
Oh, great.
No need to worry, it's very easy, and I'm just going to give you 2 options for each question and you just pick your choice.
Okay.
So are you ready?
Yes.
All right, Prasanna, who's always Prasann, here we go. Okay, minimalistic or eccentric?
Minimalistic.
Contemporary or classic?
Contemporary.
Striking facade or striking interiors?
Studying interiors.
Work from home or go to office?
Go to office.
Okay. Bright lights or low lights?
I always believe in bright lights with natural lights.
Ah, lovely. So, yeah, natural light. Okay. Favorite material to work with?
Stone.
Badminton or cricket?
Cricket.
So, Sunday is your binge day.
Yeah, binge day.
Sports wise, binge day.
Yeah.
Indoor design or outdoor design?
Outdoor design.
On a date night, movie at home or dinner outside?
Dinner outside with Rupa.
Oh, lovely. That's sweet. Okay, so out of all the cities that you have lived at, any particular work of architecture that you really liked or would like to reinvent?
It's my work you're speaking of.
Anybody's work that you have been impressed by or get inspired by, or something that you would like to change about it?
Not certainly from India, but I think I have seen, I was inspired by many buildings in Milan, but I don't want to change their design.
No, not at all.
But I am inspired by them.
European architecture plays an important role in your thought process?
Not European architecture. It's more about contemporary architecture in Europe. So
In Europe, okay.
Yeah.
So what is the final question that I would also like to ask you is that what is your personal design space like? If you had to design for yourself, what would your space be like?
The first thing, my space will have a lot of natural light. That's one thing. And I would like to have my space within, it's kind of indoor thing, but should be placed somewhere in the outdoor or maybe somewhere in the forest. And,
Oh, lovely.
So I just want to sit there and try to bring out my own maybe emotions or maybe sensitive things toward design from that place.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Prasanna.
Thank
It was lovely to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
I would now like to call upon Mr. Rajesh Bhandari, Director A-Class Marble, to kindly get a memento signed by our guest, Mr. Prasanna Parvatikar from Cubism Architects and Interiors, Tirupur. Architect Prasanna Parvatikar had completely different challenges to face during his career, and one of them being language barrier, and of course being introduced to a completely different culture to start with. But he overcome those with flying colors. Well, that's all for today. See you all on the next episode of the Chat Trap right here with me, Pavleen Gujral. Till then, ciao.